Hello everybody, Dark Ninja here. Today I'm going to be making a video in the MAUS showing you how to angle it using some real gameplay examples. So I already have a video in the MAUS showing you how to angle it, but that video that I made was showing you how to do it in a training room, just showing you the theoretical tips and tricks for how you should be angling it, but I wanted to show you some actual gameplay as well, in part because it's probably more interesting to most people. And also because I'm sure there are some people who want to see angling in action in an actual battle rather than just in a training room. So that's what I'm going to be showing you today. I had a MAUS session earlier today, and I picked out some of my best replays when it came to blocking a lot of damage and surviving for a long time in situations where I really shouldn't be. So here we're on Big Ansk. I am kind of a fan of Big Ansk overall, though the city isn't that much better, I don't think, but overall the map as a whole just seems better. So I'm coming around this corner here in the city. Now, I expect that there will probably be some people around this corner. I'm looking at their team comp. They have some TDs who could potentially be back there, like the 4K5 especially, as I'm thinking he's probably going to be back here, most likely. Could be in the field, but he could be back there. So as I go around this corner... This is probably a pretty obvious tip, but don't go around completely sideways. I went around a little bit too sideways here. I think I do try to turn in at the last second and then approach at more of like this kind of angle. But just always keep in mind what they can see. And in this situation, I'm exposing too much of my side. So I peek the corner, spot an eyes forward, and immediately I shoot him. So I get the shot off first. And so the first thing I'm trying to do is try to angle my turret, because when I'm angled like this, it's the best turret there, or the best shot that he has is on my turret, so I'm expecting him to probably aim at that first. So I try to immediately whip my hull around to the left and then turn my turret at the same time. So one major mistake I see people make in angling the MAUS is when they're angling their turret, they don't use their hull to speed up their turret rotation. So, for example, my hull is pointed pretty far out this way. If I turn it a little bit more towards him, it'll still be decently angled. And I'm expecting him to aim at my turret, which, let's see, he isn't aiming at my turret as it turns out, but as I'm turning my turret, I have to move my camera to the left or to the right. And so I can't stare at him and look at where he's aiming while I'm doing that. So I kind of was just assuming he's aiming at my turret. I didn't know he's aiming at my hull. There are times when you can look and actually see at what they're aiming at, and then you just angle that part of your armor more when you see they're aiming at it. So for example, if I was already having my turret angled like this, let's say, so my turret is well angled, and then I look at him and he's aiming at my frontal plate, or my lower plate. What I would do is I just angle my lower plate more. I just turn clockwise a little bit, and then if he turns his gun to my side armor, then I just turn back, and vice versa. And then if he aims at my turret, then I just angle my turret and wiggle my turret, and that's pretty much how it goes when you can look at them. But in this situation, I couldn't. So here, shoots at my hull, and you can see him angled like this. This is actually a decent angle. It kind of depends whether he's firing heat or AP, whether this is likely to pen or not. If he's firing heat, then this is probably, like, I would guess, like a 60% chance to pen. But if he's firing AP, then this is actually, like, basically an ideal angle, because he's not going to pen my side with AP, and he's not going to pen my lower plate with AP very easily either. As you can see, I'm slightly angled up here, which I didn't realize. My lower plate is kind of elevated in the air, which is something you should always be paying attention to. And that actually comes back to bite me later on in this battle, for that specific reason. But then I also see there's a Blisk back there. I thought that I probably would out-reload him, so I looked at him. And right now I'm just doing a classic side scrape. So one big mistake that I see people make with side scraping in the MAUS is they will just... They'll like align their turret with their hull. So their turret will be like this. That is not nearly wide enough of an angle. You need to turn your turret way more than you think you need to. So as you can see, I have it aligned roughly with like the corner, this where these two plates meet here. That's usually a decent angle. Kind of depends on the situation, but against a Bliskowica, there's no chance in hell that he's ever going to pen this. It's just not a good enough angle. And so I can kind of just tell by looking at it, he's not going to pen that. But yeah, if you just put your turret directly in line with your hull, the problem is your turret cheek is a little bit too much exposed, and it's not that hard of a pen. The turret cheek on the MAUS sucks, so you want to over-angle the turret. That's like a super important tip. It's probably the most important tip for angling the MAUS. You need to angle the turret way more than you think you need to. I'm trying to get like a good angle on my turret, but yeah, you see he bounces my side turret there. There's no chance he was ever going to pen that. And I don't know if this guy's like a camo net or if the trees are in the way or something, but somehow he goes unlit. But for now, I'm just kind of trying to bait out a shot. You'll catch a lot of people off guard. And they'll see this angle, and they're like, looks good enough to me, and they'll just shoot it. But in reality, only like a Jagdpanzer A100 is going to pen that kind of angle with heat. So, or something like that. Maybe an E4 if they get lucky or something. So there is a chance that he can pen me there. That's just kind of... I have 3,500 HP. He has 2,000. Even if we trade 1 for 1, which is unlikely because I see that he's firing standard ammo. And this is another tip. You should have this information displayed so that you know what kind of ammo type they're firing. You can look at that under battle notifications and then go to log. And then I do receive damage at the top because I like to have the enemy hits, which are the most important information you get from this log. I like to have it all in one spot so I can quickly scroll through and see which ammo type they're firing at me. So this IS-4 is firing AP, Blisk is firing standard as well. The damage that you deal really isn't that important information, so I leave it at the bottom and I separate them. Yeah, that's how you turn that on. And as I was saying, in the MAUS you have 3,500 hit points. So you shouldn't be afraid to trade with people in general, especially if you're doing like the same damage that they're doing to you. It's honestly a pretty good trade in that case because think about it. You have 3,500 HP. If you're trading 1 for 1 with someone else who's also doing 500 damage to you, you're going to end up with like a 3,500 damage game if you use up all your health, which is, you know, for most players not bad. I would like to do a little bit more than that, but I'm still okay with taking the trade against the Bliskowica because he's firing standard, and it's not an easy shot for him on my turret. So here I'm kind of just angling in the open to these guys. I know that the FE 4K5, he can't pen me with Hesh if I angle correctly. It's just not possible. Right there, I saw the BZ. He was already pre-aimed on me. And realistically, I could have angled right away to just make it more likely that he bounces me. But the fact that he's already pre-aimed on me means I'm probably not going to angle in time, and so instead it's just not worth the time to angle. I should just accept that I'm going to take a hit, and then just make sure I hit my shot in return, aim it in enough so that he can pen me, or so that I damage him. And right here, this might look kind of aggressive what I'm doing, but keep in mind, I didn't know the BZ was there, I don't think, but the BZ's fired, the 5A isn't looking at me. The MAUS, he's kind of occupied with my teammates here. He can't turn and shoot me. And even if he does turn and shoot me, I just reverse and give him an angle. All I do is expose like this part of my armor, like this part here, and then I just over angle it. So I hide my side armor behind the corner, and then if he aims at my lower plate, I just angle super hard so that he can't pen that. You know what I'm saying? So he's not a threat. These guys aren't a threat. The 4K5, if I'm quick about it and I'm like paying attention to whether he's peeking or not, I'm gonna be able to turn at least this far, and this is plenty far enough to be angled towards him. So really the only, if he has AP loaded and he aims well, then he will pen me. But again, I have 3,500 HP. It's not the end of the world if a 4K pens me. It'll do a third of my hit points, but I'm pumping out damage here, so It's not the end of the world. Like, it is a bit aggressive, but it's a calculated risk. If I angle well, it's going to be pretty difficult for him to pen me with AP. And if he has Hesh loaded, then he's going to do like 400 damage to me or something max. So the only real threat here kind of is a Bliskowitza, but again, I know he's firing standard ammo. So even a pretty wide angle like this, this is what he's looking at right now, basically. Like something like this. He can't pen that. He can't pen that, really, with standard AP. He really can only pen that, and even that is not an easy pen for just standard AP, and he has to hit it as well, so... even though this looks aggressive, I'm pretty much completely safe here for the most part. So I see that the mouse turns. He does actually get me. He was a little bit quicker than I thought it would be. I see he's backing up for me now, so I just want to keep backing up in the hopes that I can get my side around the corner. And I want to angle. Again, notice my turret. My turret is not aligned with my hull. It's angled more. And again, it's roughly with the edge of these two plates. And that's because this angle on the turret is far more effective than if I were to give him an angle like this. Because if I go like this, the side is already an auto ricochet for like this angle and for this angle. So I might as well give him more side and make the front of the turret more angled. And this is a good situation to pay attention to where he's aiming. Like the Blisk, I can't really tell where he's aiming. It's too hard to see from this distance. But the mouse, I can definitely tell where he's going to be aiming at me. And so wherever I see him aim at, that's what I angle more. And he ends up shooting my track. It's not an easy shot for most players. Like this, if I'm angled like this, he could potentially pen my lower plate. But the thing is, like, these tracks and these little flaps stick out a lot. So it's not like a huge target. And if you just like turn slightly like that, or you go backwards and forwards like this, there's a good chance that your tracks just eat the shot. So we're already up to 6k block damage. Not too much actual damage ourselves, but now here I'm deciding whether to turn my turret and just eat the shot from him and then trade damage with him. And I decide I'm going to risk it. I'm going to do it. I'm kind of paying attention to what's happening on the map. And to me, what I'm worried about is that we finish off these people in the city. This Blisk is a one-shot. These three we could kill relatively fastly. I'm platooned with Kenway. He's a good player. He's in the city as well. If we just steamroll the city here, I'm not going to get to the other flank, bro. Like, I'm a fucking mouse, and we have, like, 6 people here. Even if some of them die, they're going to be way ahead of me. And I'm just going to be left chasing damage the rest of the game that I'm never going to get to. So it's good. It's more important for me, if I'm going for damage per game, to play aggressively here and take some risks with my health. I still have 2,000 health. I had... Well, actually, yeah, I guess I have 2,000 health, so I decided to take the risk and play a bit aggressive. You know, you don't have to do that. You don't necessarily have to do this in this situation, but I felt pretty confident that there's a good chance I'm gonna bounce to 4K if he fires at me, and so I thought it was worth the risk to play aggressive here and take the risk, and it ends up paying off, as you'll see later. The Bliskowitza is in the window, which I didn't realize until too late here, so he actually gets a shot into me. I didn't even realize that he could shoot me. And so yeah, he actually rolled me for 800 from that distance, which seems kind of insane, but... I still have 1,200 health. I technically could even take a hit from an FV, although I would be one-shot Ferrari. And I knew that this guy was probably pre-aiming me around the corner, so if you pay attention to what I did there, the 4K's ass is kind of like here. It's covering my side armor. So all I'm giving him right here is a highly angled lower plate, which he's not going to pen unless it's heat, which he does have heat loaded. So he could have penned it, but he didn't aim for it. He ended up aiming for my turret, and I knew he would probably be doing that. So I just quick snapped the shot off, and then using my hull to turn like that, and turning my turret at the same time, I whip my turret to the left, and then he fluffs his shot into my side turret or something, or maybe hit my track, I don't remember, but either way, he doesn't pen me. This Blisk loaded gold now, so it's a little bit harder to bounce him. I am completely in the open to him after all, and he's relatively close, but our already finishes off the Blisk, and now this game is looking... I accidentally fired there. I got a new keyboard, and it was kind of messing with me, and I somehow managed to accidentally fire, but it's kind of looking like we're probably going to win this game, even though the HP... We are up a decent amount of HP, and we're also up a lot of guns, more importantly. Missed a shot on the Batchet, and here, I see he's coming around the corner against me. I'm a 2-shot. He could finish me off. And here I'm just being aware of the terrain, so this wall here, if you look at where the bat is, he can't see the front of my turret, or if he can, it's like a small sliver like that or something. So all I'm doing is giving him my side turret, and he is above me a little bit in elevation, so I have to keep that in mind. I'm probably over-angling my turret slightly here, but it's still pretty unlikely that he's going to pen this angle, like from here. It's just like, if he shoots that, it's probably like 40% chance or something, or 50 to pen, so probably 40. And he has APCR loaded anyway. He doesn't even have heat, so he has no chance of penning me, pretty much. I think that's pretty much it for this replay. So let's check. I missed a shot on the bat. I think that's pretty much it. So, we end up this game. I don't get any more damage here. End up getting 7,200 block damage. Not much damage, actually. Only like 3,500. I hit a blind on the Bliskowica, I think. And then 2,000 spotting. And then there's one more replay I want to quick show you, because it's more so it's just because it's funny, rather than it being... I feel like I've taught you most of the things you need to know about angling a mouse already. So it's probably just going to be me reiterating a lot of the points I've already made. But, this replay is pretty funny, so I want to show it off. I'm not going to cut this, I don't think. I need to get up early in the morning, and I'm already supposed to be in bed, so I can't waste time editing this. Too lazy anyways. And I'm probably going to speed through this replay a little bit quicker. There is one thing that I think I show in this replay, which I didn't get to show much in the other replay, and that's when you're in the open in a mouse. Like in an open field, so you have no hard cover to help cover your side or your lower plate or your frontal turret, like if you're side scraping or something. If you're just in the open in the mouse, the same concepts do apply to an extent. Like you want to angle at the roughly at the angle that I showed you earlier, where you're angled like, let's say, like you want to angle your front roughly like this, your hole I mean, and then you want to angle your turret like a little bit less than that, like I said, like roughly in line with that or with that. But I forgot, there was something else I was going to say which I forgot, but one thing that I do show in this replay that I didn't show too much in the other is when you're in the open field. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Yeah, and if they're spotted and you can see where they are, then you know, try to angle towards them and look at where they're aiming so that you can over-angle that part of your armor. Another thing to keep in mind though is just kind of wiggling. Like you'll see in this replay the kind of little patterns I have with going back and forth, rotating my hull left and right. Twitching my turret left and right. You don't want to overdo it too much, because if you make too big of movements, then not only can they predict, you know, how you're gonna move, but and that's the other thing, you want to do it kind of random so they can't like predict where you're gonna angle towards next. But also you don't want to do too big of movements, because then they can, if you like move your turret too far to one side, then it just becomes an easy pen on one side. And then notice another thing. I think I spawned like somewhere over here, or maybe over here. I'm driving across the field this game. Like, that's what's happening. I told my team at the start of the game, I'm going across the field. Please cover me. This is another important tip, which I have not mentioned yet. If you are ever going to drive in an open field, doesn't matter if it's like the middle mile and off cut, or if it's just like you're going down some corridor or something. Well, corridor is not the best example, but like you need to drive across an open terrain field. You want to approach from a wide angle. So what do I mean by that? My end destination, let's say, is like here. I want to get here, and I want to spot everybody. So there's two important components that you need to remember. One is distance. If you're getting shot from multiple angles, so let's say I'm getting shot from way back here, and I'm also getting shot by this Udes. The further back I am from these two targets, the better the effective angle I have against each of them. Because you can imagine, the closer and closer I get between these two people, like this imaginary person here and the Udes, this guy is getting a better angle, and this guy's getting a better angle. But as I back up away from them, this guy's angle becomes worse, and this guy's angle becomes worse. So you want to keep your distance when you're getting shot from multiple angles. That's the first important thing. The second important thing is when you're going to cross a gap or like an open area, approach from a wide angle. And so, for example, let's say I want to end up here, like I was saying. I could have just drove straight there. Like, I could have just gone like this. And this should be pretty intuitive, but I'm going to explain it anyway. It's better to go from a wide angle. So, like, I'm safe off spawn for the most part. Like, I'm really far away from them, and it's going to take a while for me to get spotted. So it's better for me to cross like this and then approach from a wide angle rather than just cutting across. Because imagine if I cut straight across, I'm in this orientation, right? Instead, right now, I'm in more of like this orientation. And so my front is pointed more towards where I expect the enemies to be. Like, I expected the enemies to be like around this area, obviously over here, and then just a bunch of tanks like way out here as they drive up to the hill. I don't want to be driving like this, getting shot in the side by this Udez's position, and having my front have to be pointed in this direction. I want my front to be pointed, you know, in the middle of all the targets that are going to be shooting me. So in the middle of this guy and this guy. So I want my orientation to be like this. So I want to approach from that direction. Okay, that took a while to explain, but I swear now I'm probably done explaining stuff now. Now it's just we just sit back, relax, and enjoy. So I'm testing my luck here. I'm just kind of feeling it out, seeing what's shooting me. There's a lot of unspotted tanks that can probably shoot me right now. Here you can see some of those wiggles I'm doing. I see an opportunity to take out that light tank. I know that I'm probably going to bleed some shots for turning my turret like that, but and for having to stop moving my hull to aim. But I accept that fact. I'm still full HP, so I take the risk. Here you can see I'm rotating my turret back and forth. If they're aiming for my turret cheek, they might miss and hit my side turret. And I am getting a little bit lucky here. There's no doubt about that. But it's honestly not as lucky as you probably think I'm getting. Like, it's not that surprising to me whatsoever that this is happening right now, because the MAUS's armor at like 500 meters range is extremely good. Even against like things with high pen, it's just very likely that you're gonna miss and hit, you know, his upper plate, side turret, stuff like that. It's not huge giant targets you're aiming at really if you're angled properly. So we're already up to 7K blocked, kind of just chilling here, and you'll notice that I stopped moving up once I got to about here, because I knew if I move up any further than this, like if I went to here, I would probably be dead right now. Partially because if you look at the map here, if you look at where my render distance goes to, There's like basically always people here as they're driving up to the hill. They're gonna stop there and just shoot me, and they have a pretty good angle on me, as you can see. Like from over there, it's not a terrible angle. It's like the same angle as the UDES has. So it's really like this angle and this angle that I'm most worried about. All these guys in between could pen me for sure, but it's just less likely that they're going to. And yeah, that's kind of why I stopped. But now that my team is taking more map control, I feel more comfortable moving up, because the effective angle that they have on me, at least in my head right now, I'm thinking they probably aren't going to be able to pen me now, because they're getting pushed back further and further, and their effective angle on me is just not great. I am kind of pushing my luck, though, because if you pay attention, and I did realize this, I think, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but they have a Yag, which is very scary, and he's platooned with these E100s, so I'm pretty confident he's back here. Like, where else could he be, honestly? You think he's on the hill? It's a fucking Yag Panzer. It's very unlikely he's on the hill. He would probably only have just gotten up on the hill if he was driving this whole time, so he's definitely probably in this area, and I'm kind of aware of that, or in K0. So I am pushing my luck a little bit. I don't have a ton of HP at this point. I have 1300. And there the Yag just shoots me and bounces, because I'm a GIGACHAD and the MAUS is a GIGACHAD tank. Looking back at that, that was actually not a great shot. I didn't give enough lead. So we're up to 8.5k blocked. Haven't done much damage, but you know, I still feel like I've been contributing to my team. I made their whole team just stop and shoot me for 5 minutes, so that's good. But I do end up dying in the end, unfortunately. Could have been probably like 12k blocked or something if I had managed to block or stay alive a little bit longer, but still pretty good. Almost got to the 10k figure there. Another thing to mention about this, why can I not fucking look around? Okay, I guess I'm just gonna have to show you on the map. I can't show you on the map. Okay, I'm just gonna have to describe it. If you're gonna make this play, you can do this from either side, by the way. But the most important thing, like I said, approach from a super wide angle so that your front is pointed at the enemy and you're not driving side on in front of them. And two, if you don't have like a platoon mate to push the water, then it's way riskier. So this game I had Kenway in the 1-2-1, and we're in TeamSpeak, and so I knew he was going to push to K3. If there was a tank at K3, like the Char was there, he would have just farmed me on the side and I would have just died. So in like, if I was doing this solo, I still probably would have done this. But if I see someone at K3, instead of driving straight across the field, I'm gonna go all the way to like H1 and then drive across that way, roughly from there, instead of taking this route across the field, just so that I can angle to the guy at K3 as well. Alright, that's gonna be all for now. Thank you all for watching. This was pretty long, but hopefully you enjoyed and hopefully you learned how to angle your mouse. Definitely is a tank that has a place in the game still. It's not just outclassed by everything. You could not do this in any other tank except the MAUS, so the MAUS definitely still has a place in the game, especially if you know what you're doing with it, angling wise. By the way, this IS-7 was hilarious. I don't know what the hell he was doing, but that was pretty funny. Alright, see you guys later.